Hey, welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, Traveling Roadshow Edition. I'm on my way back to Arizona. Which day exactly to be determined. I'm actually coming to you right now from Salt Lake City, Utah, in a KOA. It's pretty nice, but I wanted to get with you. I don't have any charts to share with you, so bear with me today. It's all going to be on the top of my head. I'm just seeing things that bug me, and I'm telling you, don't get caught up in the FOMO. Don't get caught up in the social media stuff that's coming out by some realtors saying, it's pretty clear now that rates are going to go down, and now's the time to get in, get off the fence, make the move. I could not disagree more, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, let's talk about what it is that they think is going to happen and how low will rates get. You're not going to see fours again. You just won't. I mean, you think about it. When was the last time we saw fours before the pandemic? It was in the 1950s. Okay, so we got down to fours and threes because this grand experiment by the central bank of flooding the market with dollars. And so money was cheap, money was free. What happened because of that, and you all know, was that the amount of available homes for sale in their market dipped all the way down to about 4,500 homes. Today we have 24,000. Now, they were down to 4,500, but we were writing contracts between 4,500 and 4,800 a week. So every week we were losing 300 homes. Prices went nuts. Where are we at today? Well, I looked at the numbers this morning before I hit the road, and we are below 2,600 in weekly contracts. Past 7 days, we're at 2,560 is what I saw this morning. There, I remembered one number. And so now you look at that and you go, okay, so their new listings came on at about 3,000. So we have 400 more new listings than we have new contracts. That is not enough to drive prices up or down. You're going to have a huge difference between the number of contracts and the number of listings, completely inverted the other way, in order to see any semblance of bidding wars. Now, let's say miraculously rates come flying down. They come flying down by November. I don't see it. But let's say I'm completely and totally wrong. That's not going to change things overnight. The buyers are not going to rush out in big numbers. What are they going to do? We're going to go from 2,500 to 5,000? Well, if that's the case, if rates come down that far, you can expect to see more new listings. So we're probably going to see 4,000 new contracts on a 7-day moving average instead of the 2,600 I'm seeing now, and that's being really optimistic. And you're probably going to see 4,000 new listings every week. Pretty darn balanced. There isn't going to be this rush. There isn't going to be this hurry up. Let's get going. Let's buy something. I just don't see it coming. So why am I telling you this? I just get really irritated at people in our industry trying to tell you to go do something because something else is going to happen. They don't know. I don't know. You don't know. So try not to get caught up in the FOMO. The other thing is, none of this stuff happens overnight. Rates don't change overnight, and buyer habits don't change overnight. We could be right where we're at today, probably through most of next winter. Even if rates come flying down, the first thing you're going to see, let's say that rates come down, the first thing you're going to see is that sellers are going to see an uptick in buyer interest, but only enough to where they're not going to have to discount their properties as much. There won't be any bidding wars. But the first thing you'll see that shaves off is the seller contributions. They're not going to be out there buying down your rate. They're going to offer some closing cost assistance, but they're not going to be buying down your rate because, well, guess what? Rates went down. You're in the mid-5s. You don't need their assistance anymore. At least that's the theory. Sellers will have a slight easier time selling if we get down to 5.5. Buyers will have an easier time buying, but I don't see prices between now and the time that those rates come down, if they come down, coming down to a level where everybody goes, oh, wow, affordability. Now, there's a few areas in our valley where that's happening. That's Buckeye and Maricopa. And those are clearly buyers' markets because you're competing with the builders. The builders are throwing everything at us right now to get you to come in. Couldn't believe what I got from Lennar this week. I mean, I think they were offering 3.99 financing, and 4% to 4.5% agent commissions. Unbelievable. They're hurting, and they've got some inventory to unload. So if you are looking at new builds, sign up with your agent and get out there, because there's some pricing and some bargains, because their year-end books close at the end of October. So they're ramping up now to try and dump as much as they can. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I think you're going to see our 2,650 contracts maybe creep up to 27, maybe 2,800. Don't expect much more than that. And if we don't get much more than that, that certainly doesn't mean that buyers are off the fence, and here they come. Interest rates are slated to come down, but remember, there's too much focus on the Fed right now. They went down 0.25 this week. What did rates do? They edged up a little bit. The bond traders that trade the 10-year treasuries are still very nervous about inflation. They're not quite sure where inflation is going to be. They don't want us to make the mistakes that we did in the late 70s, where we pulled rates down too fast and then things took off. We end up with rampant inflation again, so they're cautious. They want to make more money off of their treasuries than they do off the rate of inflation. They want that spread. So they're waiting. They're being cautious. Central bank, you can pressure them to put the rates down and go down 0.50, and the bond traders may just revolt and go, I'm not with you. I'm not with you on that. I'm going to stay here, and we're going to keep rates where they're at. Because you know what? The central bank, outside of just lowering the overnight rate, which is all that is, they're not buying mortgage-backed securities. We have a bit of quantitative tightening still going on. Quantitative easing, QE, is when they start buying treasuries. They start buying mortgage-backed securities, and they force the rates down. Everybody's watching unemployment. Is unemployment going to go down? Well, it's starting to go up a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going down. Financial market's concerned about that, but the traders are more concerned about our debt than they are about the unemployment rate. The central bank is more concerned about our unemployment because they can't do anything about our debt except talk about it. Say, hey, guys, you might want to cut this spending. Doesn't work. So you've got these two forces that are trying to work together, but they're not able to do it. That being said, that's a good argument that says, well, we're not going to see rates come flying down. What kind of pricing pressure are we going to see? Well, if there's only a 300 home gap between the number of new listings coming on and contracts, we've already seen that affects pricing by about 1%, 1.5%. Some neighborhoods, like I say, Buckeye, Maricopa, considerably more. But for the most part, they're not flying down. They're certainly not crashing, and there's nothing out there that says that they're going to crash from the numbers that I track. Now, people throw back and go, yeah, but what if we get a whole bunch of job losses? Well, what if we do? How big are they going to be? And if we do get a lot of job losses, that's when the central bank comes in and kind of opens up the floodgate again. They do it every time. And that's when the traders start to take notice and go, okay, we'll take them seriously now. And then you'll see rates start to come down, more jobs being created. Who knows? But here's the key thing to consider. We've never been in this situation before, ever. We've never flooded our market with this much money. We've never tried to pull back from that amount, ever. So this is just a big experiment, and everybody's guessing. So don't let anybody in my industry tell you what's going to be happening in the next 6 months, because they don't know. Hey, if you want a report for your zip code, there's a link down below. You can click on that, tell me your zip code, and I'll give you a report that gives you all the details: foreclosures, rental prices, appreciation, everything you need to know in your neighborhood. And keep tracking these numbers and watch and see what happens. But don't get in a rush. We're in a good position right now. You have any questions, shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. Take care.